If there's something you think we should do a story about here on the programme, you can send it to me in an email. You know the address. It's david.whiteley@bbc.co.uk. Later on, what this stone tells us about our place in the history of the world. There's a group of people who can't wait for freezing temperatures. They're the ice skaters who use the Fens just a couple of miles from here for speed skating. Well, Julie Ranger got her skates on to join them.
This winter, the Fenland landscape has been frozen for weeks. Waterlogged washes under the weight of heavy snow have fallen silent, apart from the muffled cries of wading birds. But this quiet has been broken by a sound people thought they might never hear again. This year, the almost forgotten art of outdoor skating has made a comeback.
When the weather is cold enough and the ice is good enough, these fens become a natural ice rink.
I went to Bury Fen near Erith. Here, the flooded washes of the River Ouse may look like any other stretch of frozen water during this winter's big freeze. But for skating enthusiasts, taking to the ice in this spot was an occasion to cherish.
I don't think a lot of people realise that skating started here in the Fens, and the governing body, the National Ice Skating Association, was set up in 1879. So off the back of that, we have the skating that we know today, you know, from the competitions that we see on TV to dancing on ice. Even ice hockey, they say, started actually on this very piece of ice here. And back in the 1870s, it was called bandy, and then kind of progressed to ice hockey. So there's a tremendous amount of history.
It's been going on for centuries, and the skaters all had fantastic names. There was Turkey Smart and Gutta Percha C.
Turkey Smart got his nickname from the way he skated, crouching low to cut wind resistance and throwing his arms back like wings. So good was this technique that it's still copied today. Like the past severe winters themselves, regular skating has fallen into folk memory. For John Salis, like many other native Fenlanders, learning to skate was a childhood requirement, as necessary as riding a bike.
I started to skate when I was about 5-6 years old, and by the time I was into my teens, I used to race quite regularly. In 1951, my father filmed it. We couldn't work. It was all we'd done. The land was frozen solid, and we just spent most days wherever there was ice, skating.
Putting on a pair of skates handed down from his father, John prepared to get onto the ice.
Considering I haven't skated for 8 years, probably 8 years, don't know how well it's going to happen yet.
John's limbs may not be as nimble as they were, and despite his lack of practice, he took to the ice like a duck to water. And that's the thing about skating. No matter how skilled or clumsy you are, it's a great leveller.
I think it's great that it's all ages here. It's a real family thing. There's old people who've been obviously skating since their childhood, and then there's young people on skates or on sledges. And you can think that these people, these tiny little tots who are tumbling about on the ice, are going to be the grizzled old Fen skaters in 80 years' time.
Casting possible embarrassment to the wind, it was time for me to get my skates on.
This is an incredible feeling, skating outside on a frozen fen. And what's really exciting, this year the ice could be good enough for racing.
Although it's been icy for weeks, conditions have to be exactly right for racing.
We need sub-zero temperatures, obviously, not too much wind so the water is quite still to get the frost for a start, and then obviously not too much snow, because the snow does make the ice go soft. Since we last raced is 1997, we've had little bits of ice in between, but not of the standard that we can sort of invite the public in and race on.
How do you keep the momentum going, the interest going, getting people to come and take part?
Outdoor skating, fen skating as we call it, is something that's in the blood. Nobody never forgets once they've been involved in it. But the other thing that we've gained a little bit from recently is the inline skating. Most of the kids and that have all got these inline ones on wheels, and that's as close as you can get to actually being on ice. They can use the wheels in the summer when there's no ice and, you know, skate parks and whatnot, and then they're ready to go straight on ice skates if there happens to be the ice in the winter.
We used to get organised when it thaws.
It was touch and go whether the track could be cleared sufficiently enough of snow, so it was relief all round when the decision to race was finally made.
So we're fit, are we? Yep.
Ready, go! We call for entries to people that want to race. They then go into a hat drawn out in pairs because they race 2 at a time against the clock. The race we're doing today, 4-lap race, which is a mile in distance. It's a standard 440-metre lap as such. That's with 1 inside corner and 1 outside corner. And yeah, it needs to be spot on for British records and so on. It's always against the clock, on your own, swap track so that you never get any assistance from the other person. So it's an out-and-out time trial to see how well you can do.
Another indication that this winter has provided perfect conditions was the sight of Alan Fisher, a former skating champion putting himself through his paces. Too old to compete now, his record's an inspiration for skaters today.
They tell me that I've won all the skating races in the Fens, what I'm eligible for.
And what's the trophy you most prize?
I suppose it's the Dudleston Cup. That was for the British 1 mile outdoor speed skating. Yeah, it was a good day, a nice day like today. Not as much wind as today. The ice was good, and I did a good time. I broke 3 minutes. I can't remember the actual time. I think it was about 2:52 or something. 2 minutes 52 seconds.
And you've actually got the cup here.
I have.
And presumably you'd like to see this wonderful trophy passed on to somebody else.
Yeah, probably this week or next weekend if the weather keeps cold. It'll probably be raced for. I want to see someone else compete for it and keep the sport going.
We've been waiting for this for over 10 years now, and here we are racing at Bury Fen, and we thought it wasn't going to happen. Finally, we've made it, so we're here. The finals are happening at the moment. It's a wonderful day. We have an old saying in the Fens, it takes ice to meet old friends, and we can certainly see that here today. It's as if they haven't kind of left off, really, so it's you know, quite a wonderful experience to see all these people having some fun.
Because speed skating is such a rare sport, it made this hastily organised event all the more special. But the thaw this week has spoilt the ice, and the national championships will have to wait another week, or maybe another decade.
We've got the final of the 1 mile race. You've got Malcolm Robinson, who's slightly in the lead at the moment, and a chap called Michael McInerney, who's from Wisbech. And look, it's neck and neck coming around, and that's it. Michael McInerney from Wisbech has won it, and Malcolm from Sutton is second, but that was pretty close. Great. It's the first final of the skating season, you know, so...
I can tell you're very, very excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, it was a day I will never forget, and let's hope the memories and experiences people took away with them will not be forgotten either.
It is a wonderful, uniquely Fenland thing, and to get out on the ice and do this, for some people it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and if you've done it once, you're always hooked. I think most people that have actually been involved with fen skating or been out skating on the Fens are always wondering and wishing and hoping for the next spell of ice. And it's freezing cold, isn't it? But there's not a sad, dull face out here, you know. My lips can hardly speak, but we're all having some fun.